Peace and blessings, everybody. Welcome to my channel. I'm kind of new to this. This is my first video. But I was urged to come to YouTube and tell why I don't do love work anymore for anybody. Not even if you pay me. I don't do love, magic, root work, anything for people anymore. And here's why. Because that shit can go very wrong. It can go completely wrong. And I was telling a couple of my friends about what happened so many years ago, back in the 90s. I was just a teenager. And I didn't really have any knowledge of what I was doing, what I was conjuring, and what actually could happen. I just thought that I was helping out a friend. Knowing that I was born with these gifts and these talents from a child, I never thought about backfire of what can happen when your love magic goes wrong. So, a real quick story. I won't be too long. I had a girlfriend. She's still my girlfriend. I won't say her name. You ready for the story? You listening to my story? You are? Okay. Because you wanted to know the story for a long time. Okay. So, this is why I don't do love spells, love magic, no love root work. I have workers I can refer you to. I don't do that. I stick to what I do well, and that's reading the tarot cards. Because this is what happened back in the 90s. I was a teenager. And my girlfriend, she's still my girlfriend to this day. I won't say her name though. She was really super in love with the father of her child. And they were going through some real tough times. It was real bad, like arguing, fussing, physical violence, fighting. And she know that, you know, I dabbled in the arts, so to speak, back then. This is just something I was born with as well. But she know that I was, you know, dipping and dabbing, and not knowing what the hell I was doing, because again, I was a teenager. And so, ready for this story? This story is crazy. So, here we go. She's on the phone with me, I'm on the phone with her, and she's begging me, please, I don't care, you know, what can happen, can you please, I just want to marry the father of my child, because, and I'm like, I'll never tell you who it was, but I'm gonna say she said, I just want to marry the father of my child because that would make me the first person in my family. This is kind of sad. Whoever married the father of their child. And I'm on this phone and I'm like, girl. And I know deep down in my heart and in my soul that I shouldn't do this. And the whole time I'm like, girl. But I see my friend is so sad, and she's so upset because she wanted to make it work, you know, with the father of her child. And they was fussing, fighting, and arguing and stuff. So I'm like, alright, bet. Back then we didn't have the internet. We didn't have Google, none of it. So like, I literally went into this blind. I went in just reaching into the spirit and seeing, you know, how I could do this. Because I had a feeling like I could do this. So I go and I get my love tools together and got myself a pink candle. And I'm telling y'all, you'd be surprised what you can do when your intention is there and when your emotions is connected to it easily. Because I see people who give me that thing right there. I see people who go and do all this fancy stuff, right, and get all these products and, you know, do all this big time magic work. And sometimes if you got enough intention, all you need is a pink candle, a little tiny pink candle, because that's all I had. I had a pink candle similar to that one, and I had paper, brown piece of paper, and I wrote down their names. I'm not going to go in complete detail of how it was done, but So I got that piece of paper and I wrote them names up. Let's say Jane and John. So Jane and John is on this paper. And I did my thing with it. And the whole time I'm just like, shit, this might not be good. And then there's still the logical side of myself that's like, this shit ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work. So I want to say, like, fast forward 2 weeks later, we are literally sitting in one of those little wedding chapel storefront kind of places, because the magic worked. It worked. She was happy. She was so happy. And the inside of me was like, oh, this shit is not right. I just knew this was not right. I knew. I had a feeling like this. I shouldn't have manipulated whatever they was going through. I should have mind my business. And I should have just mind my business. And so, 2 weeks later, she's ecstatic. She happy. She in this little wedding chapel place. And I'm in the front row. And she is getting married to the father of a child. And I'm in that front row. And I am sick, y'all. Sick to my stomach. And so after the wedding, just sitting back and being a witness to the different arguments and violence and stuff that was going on between the relationship, I had to write her a letter, and I said that, I love her, but we had to have time apart, because I personally couldn't take it that I was seeing her. She got what she wanted. She wanted to be married to the father of a child. But of course, again, I wasn't specific enough. My intent was very strong on getting married, getting them married. So fast forward, this is like 2 years and a whole nother child later, and I get this phone call asking me to come to her apartment. It's an emergency. And I get to the apartment, and we walking up the steps, and I see blood dripping all through the hallway. We get to the apartment, open up the door, and it was like a dead ass crime scene. And she explained to me what happened. I'm like, where did he go? Because at any moment now, I'm thinking the cops is coming to lock her up because she killed somebody. And the first thing I can think of, it's your friend. You like, shit, we need some bleach. We got to get this blood up. We got to get this blood up. And the whole time I was just like, I should have never, ever did any kind of magic, any kind of spell work, especially with love. This wasn't my first go around with doing love magic, but this was the one that made me stop. It was horrible. So the cops never came. He showed up, I think it was like a day later, in the hospital. He was paralyzed for like 2 years. But that was horrible. Like, it was literally like a crime scene in here. She had stabbed him up. And yeah, she stabbed him up, and all I could do is just look around, and I'm sitting here thinking like, damn, I'm getting ready to go to jail as an accessory, because I'm helping you clean this up. Because I helped you get into this shit, like, you know what I'm saying? But, it took a long time for them two to actually finally part, and after I mind my business, like, after that, like, I made a pact. I was just like, I promise I won't do any kind of love work anymore. So, like, that day going forward, I got people that I can refer you to for that kind of stuff. But I'm sticking to what I do best, and that's read the tarot cards and channeling and mediumship. But yeah, that's my story on why and what can happen when you go fucking around with that magic and you don't know what you're doing, or it could backfire. And me in that apartment on my knees cleaning up blood was like, it was like a lesson learned. So from that day forward, I've never done that before. But if you like
and subscribe my mommy's page.
you like this story, I got many more that's coming. And again, if that's the kind of stuff you interested in, or you want to get a job, prosperity spells, I'm pretty good at that. But I got some other folks that this is what they do, you know, like who I can lead you to. But other than that, you want to get your cards read and all that stuff, hit me up. Yes, don't fuck with that shit if you don't know what you're doing. For me personally, even though I know what I'm doing now, fast forward 20 something years, I still ain't gonna do it, because I've seen this shit go wrong with too many other people who messed around with it. So I mean, I don't know, that's just my advice. If you don't know what you're doing, go get a professional. Go hire someone who actually knows what they're doing, someone who does not have any kind of connection to you, any kind of kinship or friendship with you, someone who is completely neutral about the whole situation. You definitely don't want to get someone like your friend, your cousin, your auntie who, you know. Okay, so my little director told me to wrap it up. I'm gonna wrap it up. This was story time for tonight. You guys have a safe night. Yeah, peace.